Hey, my name's Ayush Verma, and today I'm going to be talking about global video game development in South Korea. Here's a quick overview of the topics I'll be covering today. So first I want to cover the brief history of Korean gaming. In 1975, Pong clones became very popular in Seoul. Samsung and Goldstar, which later became LG, started creating and importing simple electronic games, which kind of created Korea's first gaming marketplace. In 1983, home PCs took over in households, and therefore students learned programming through PCs in schools before consoles even came out. In 1985, Korea had some domestic success with the launch of Zemix, which was basically a home computer standard. In 1987, Korea introduced copyright laws which helped to reduce piracy and stabilize the market. It also saw the launch of Legend of Sword, which is a majorly successful domestic title. In 1988, another major successful title was Lineage, and PC bangs became very popular. Those are kind of like gaming cafes, as us Americans would think about them. 1989, role-playing games became popular, and Sega and Nintendo started to outsource some of their manufacturing to Korean companies. And if we take a quick look at the cultural influence that influenced gaming, um, you know, South Korea is one of the most academic environments, one of the most competitive academic environments, and students spend long hours in school and after-school tutoring. So PC bangs became a social outlet and kind of a stress reliever that led to some competitiveness between students. The government played a major role. They banned Japanese electronics. This resulted in personal computers dominating Korea for a while. They also invested a lot into internet infrastructure, which made sure that players could always play online 24/7, and they promoted creative fields in universities. I would say Korean upbringing is extremely conservative back in the 80s. PC bangs became a good option because parents would not buy consoles for their kids. And, they grew up with the values of mastery, discipline, and improvement. And a lot of esports strategy games had very similar values. Now let's look at the unique games and consoles popular in Korea. Here are some lesser known games and consoles that did well in Korea but not as so well globally. Lineage, which I brought up earlier, profited like $2.6 billion. Multiple sequels have come out recently. Globally, only Korean immigrants really played it. It had very little reach to the American audience. Kart Rider did well in Korea as well. However, it was never seen as a real game outside of it because it was seen as a ripoff of Mario Kart. Dungeon Fighter and MapleStory, which came out in the 21st century, both kind of, some people may have heard of them outside of Korea. They were a staple in PC bangs, but they were far less profitable outside of Korea. Some games and consoles that are only popular in Korea, such as the Hyundai Convoy, Samsung Game Boy, they sold very well because the band played a huge role, remember? They sold hundreds of thousands of units. Crazy Arcade and FIFA Online were huge in PC bangs. FIFA brought in a new genre for Asia sports and 100,000 peak concurrent players a day as well. Here are some obstacles that the Korean industry faces, and some of these obstacles pertain to today's world as well. So if you look at regulation and laws, the government introduced shutdown law, which prevented anyone under the 16 from playing after midnight. This required real name verification tied to national ID numbers and led to more identity theft as well. Gaming is also extremely youth focused over there. Older generations in Korea didn't grow up with games and they never tried acclimating themselves to it. And this kind of talks to the conservative values back in the 60s. Smartphones dominated this time. They dominated leisure time. Massively multiplayer online games and gacha games did well. And therefore PC bangs are fading now. I wouldn't argue there's a shortage of players in Korea. I'd argue there's a lack of console players in Korea. 70% of Koreans have played a video game. 20,000 PC bangs across South Korea in its peak, and it was the first nation to recognize esports as a professional sport. Not many other countries has this level of gaming integration in everyday life. Alright, thank you so much for watching.